Hello there. I know it's school run time, so the majority of the people that usually sit in on my lives probably won't be here because they'll be off picking off their kids from school. And obviously I don't have to rush around to doing that, and this is the time where we get prepared to go out, because the boys usually either spend some time with some of their friends after school, but the sort of clubs that the boys are involved in, what you've also got to remember is people are penalising me for something that government is asking us to do anyway, and that's social distancing. And we have actually been doing that. Like, don't think that I'm somebody running around going, I'm not wearing a mask and I'm not being vaccinated and I'm going to spread COVID everywhere and I don't care about my boys' well-being and all of this sort of stuff. We have hypermobility, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and this affects everything in our connective tissue. This affects absolutely everything apart from our brain. Okay, now I'm trying at this particular point to not react to the fact that the trolls have changed. And yes, they are trolls. What they are is flying monkeys. If anyone doesn't know what flying monkeys are, when take a false allegation, yeah? So whether you're in a relationship with somebody, whether it's dealing with a social worker, whether it's dealing with the police, whether it's even your own family, if somebody is telling you that the information that you know is true is wrong, this would be classed as gaslighting. This would be classed as somebody that is, and it's whether it's done deliberately. This is the main thing. So obviously, from 2010, when I very first went out in the media with Challenge Britain, and it was originally my local paper, so it was Chorley. I'm actually in Portsmouth now, but I was in Leyland, Chorley at the time in Lancashire, and it went out into a normal article, so it's like a business article. So I was part of a 26-week government incentive to help people like me into self-employment that don't fit the gaps in normal employment. So someone like me, like even my shopping in front of me, my shopping in front of me right now has caused me absolute mayhem bringing the shopping into the house. Okay, so I'm completely burning in the back of the nape of my neck at the moment and down the spine, which means that my vagus nerve is literally stretched and pulled all the way down, which is the main nerve that runs literally all the way through and all the way down through all your spine. And my discs would have moved. So those that don't understand, obviously my fingers move very differently to, if I do it with this hand, it's probably a bit easier. You can see a little bit differently. Obviously I can pull my knuckles out, I can pull my fingers out if I had my hands available, which is probably the best way to sort of show you. So obviously I can, so this is exactly the same as my knees. So when I'm walking, and this is the discs all the way down my spine, down in my neck, down in my shoulders, everywhere. So as I'm moving around, which is why I wear the t-shirt that I have on, right? So as I'm moving around, people don't understand that my knees literally move like this all the time, my toes, my fingers and things like that. And what everybody's been trying to discredit me, right? And it doesn't matter if it's this, whoever it is that's on this website that's doing it. So my website's not even up because I just can't be asked having to deal with people, me networking with people, handing out my details. They go on, Google what I'm about, and they're met straight with this adversary person that just wants to discredit me. Do it. But now they're using something against me that I'm not willing to get into a battle. It doesn't matter what I choose to share when it comes to awareness with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or talking about the trauma or how I feel about Aaron and Faith, Liam and Daniel, and the life that I now live now, and what happened in 2012, and why this happened in the first place, why I got gagged in the first place. I told you. Look, and people thought I was mental when I was saying it's coming, like what I was explaining. And I was like, I'm going to be living on my own land in a fucking house by the time this comes, because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm like in the middle of a city where I am now. And it's good, it's great here in Portsmouth. People are dealing with it very well here in Portsmouth. We're very patient with everybody here in Portsmouth. Nobody, even the police are a bit patient, and they're very patient with me too. There's a lot of people that have obviously seen me skating around the streets for quite a few years here. dancing out on the streets and actually dealing with this the way that I choose to deal with it. Obviously, you don't see people that we see and interact with on a daily basis, because not everybody wants to sit on a social media going like, look, you know, I never ever expected to do what I did. But when I was building a company and trying to work out how I was going to work as a mother, like this shopping today has cost me £100, literally just under £100. I was given £100 voucher today from my utility bills, basically. So if you're on universal credits and if you're on low incomes, things like that, the utility providers are basically giving people cash to make sure that for food, to make sure that they're paying their bills. So this actually is really, really going to help me stable for January, because as you know, I knew the big hit is going to come February, March, April, May. This is when it's really going to come in and crunch you, and they want to make sure that by summer you want to be up and out and ready, and that means that you are vaccinated, ready to, I think you should probably be on 6 by then, I think, I'm not sure. 4 is already implemented. I've already had my letter to say, hey Kelly, you're first on the list, let's go. And obviously they know the response to that is that I'm not part of a trial, and I'm not willing to be part of an experiment, and I'm also not willing to be part of something that I can prove and knowingly. And there is actually somebody here that knows that back in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, that I was going to all these things. I don't mention these people's names to go, hey, I've stood in a room with these people, I've listened to them directly. Oh, bless. Amber's just said, family's just said, thanks for letting them focus on going and sort. They're having their New Year's dinner because they only just got paid tomorrow. So they're having their New Year's dinner and family celebration tomorrow, I believe. So the trolls distract a lot of Amber's family's life, you see. So Amber has to screenshot everything, make sure I've got it all ready for the judicial review. So what people don't understand and what is delaying and holding me back is what I try to do functionally on a normal daily basis that you probably do in a very short time takes me a lot longer. Like my bags of shopping have been sitting in front of me now for probably the time period of my ice cream now probably melting. And the reason being is because, one, I then ran out of money for carrier bags, right? Because I literally hit it dead on. Now, this voucher you can use for up to 2 years, but me with pieces of paper like this is a nightmare, to the point that when one actually got to the till, one went in her pocket to find one said piece of paper, which was £100 fucking voucher that anyone could have scanned, and it was gone. One did not have meltdown, was currently needing to have a meltdown, feeling the tears coming streaming down my face, thinking, shit, I'm going to have a meltdown. Please remember, I have a legal diagnosis of autism. I cope with it very well. I don't walk around banging my head or punching myself in the head or turning around and spinning like one probably did when I was a child. I spent a lot of time spinning to regulate myself. But we charged around the shop, and there it was, sitting just slightly under bits that I didn't end up buying, and looked at some clothes and bits for the boys in the pants section, and it had fallen out the back of my bloody trousers. So luckily we were okay, including having to scan bits down and move things down, and realising that I still was going to let the boys have their little toy and things like that. So at the end of the day, £100 for somebody like me is really easy. What you got to remember is when I worked as an escort, I say worked as an escort, when I was mould into having to provide as a mother and pay for childcare and have to do something that was more than £10 an hour, £15 an hour, because childcare starts at about £10 a fucking hour, and you've got to be able to pay the childminder and stick there first. I don't think Amber realises I'm on live, so she's sending me through some changeovers on the website at the moment. So my website is kellycotton.co.uk. Yes, I have .com. Their website is kelly-cotton.com, right? I think it's a hyphen. I do this on purpose because I sometimes, people like that, they just aren't worth your time and space, really. But yeah, I know that the majority of people that usually on my lives at the moment are out school shopping, picking kids up from school and things like that, right? And this is where things for me was quite easy, because I used to live a little bit more daily. And the thing is, though, you get into a habit, don't you? You go to school, go back to friends, kids go to bed, I really like it, the way that we're doing this with the homeschooling. And the reason that I really like it is, like, even yesterday, just to show you, we get a lot of people in these spaces giving the boys a lot of one-on-one time. And I mean a lot of one-on-one time. It doesn't matter if we go to the art gallery, we've always got somebody that comes over and really explains to the boys different things that are going on. Elijah can bombard with questions. Even at the boathouse yesterday, you know, that was the main guy that come up, and I really missed a great opportunity to actually say to him, look, do you want to come up on my live? But it's about being associated to the whatever Kelly Cottam, isn't it? Or Kelly Rotten, or whatever it is you want to call me. Now, the thing with the Dean situation, I have posted up my birthday from that year, and people do know what happened. I got nutted by Dean on that occasion, and when the police turned up, I put a mask on and I covered it up, and I basically said everything was okay. But it was all caused by the people that had caused all of that in the first place, on the basis that on my birthday, I went and danced at the hospital. The reason that I did this, I'd decided to do this before lockdown even hit it in. This was my last chance before lockdown happened, because there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be pulled and pushed into that once we're in, we're on a hamster wheel, we're on a treadmill, mate, and getting off it is not going to be easy. It's you're not going to realise how difficult it is unless you deregister yourself, basically. So my children are not registered, so I don't have to deregister them. If your children are already in school, the only reason people get fines is because you didn't deregister your children. There's a lot of people that don't want to send their children back because of a lot of this, what's going on with everything. And I'm actually choosing to safeguard my children by not putting them into school. Why would I want to put my children into that situation if one said pandemic is going to be getting so much worse, when I've got children that already deal with chest, throats, ENT, all of this stuff? They already have these issues. So why would I entrust a stranger, a load of people? Now, in this community, we do know loads of people, and if any of these schools I put my kids in, they would know somebody on top, middle and bottom. But we don't spend our time with people like that. My boys don't spend Elijah doesn't spend time with 5-year-olds all day, and Shiloh doesn't spend his time with 4-year-olds all day, and I don't spend my time with 33-year-olds all day. Okay, we can spend our day with a really old couple. We could spend our day at the chip shop, and literally sometimes we literally help out and do things, and the boys get to have these experiences. You can get down, you can take those, and that's it. One each, that's it. That's it. No, because you're having an early tea today. Jump down, please, now. Yes, he will push the boundaries because he knows I'm on a live, because I do have very, 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 very strong boundaries with my kids. And I do this because they have a lot of freedom, okay? And they do have a lot of freedom. Well, if you can't get down, then you can't get it then, can you? And they do have a lot of freedom. They're out pretty much most of the day, so they're not in a clogged up classroom. We are in a common that might be completely empty. As you can see, the beaches that we spend the time at are pretty much completely empty. One for Shiloh, please, Elijah. We have our dog, which the boys are learning. I'm going to be eating one in a minute. Which obviously the boys are learning her boundaries in terms of where she would eventually snap. The reason that I chose to never prosecute Dean for stuff that's gone on with our relationship is because his argument with me and his defence with me hasn't been about me as an individual. It's been about what people have put around us in this framework with police and social, and people not understanding my trauma. At the end of the day, there is no therapist, no psychiatrist, no psychologist, no coach, no NLP specialist, no bloody cognitive therapist, none of them. There is no counsellor. 2 seconds, sweetheart, unless it's important. Is Shiloh giving you the yum? Yeah, right, give me 2 seconds then. Oh, okay, no worries. There is no therapist in this world that will ever convince me that my reality is here with 2 children. None. Absolutely none. Yes, I have been to post-adoption counselling. Yes, I have been to the therapist. And yes, I have been to the main ones referred in. And they have all said the same. The way that I cope with it is absolutely fucking remarkable.
the way that I deal with it is, you know, that's just the way it is. Yes, I am stressed, and I'm stressed with the situation, with the people that feel the need to keep putting these adversary stuff out, because it's been going on 9 years now. It definitely for this last 7, 100% for the last, yeah. I mean, Amber will probably be able to say when the accounts started coming in, when they created the website that they've put up. I think it's only been about a year or two. It's certainly in the last 2 years. It would definitely have been with the sunflowers, because I didn't wear the sunflower initially at the beginning until I think it was about the first week, because I gave out the sunflowers about a year before lockdown. I think Amber was just getting them all out and distributed and moved and things. I have no idea who's running or doing any of the stuff. Amber literally deals with everything that's going on around us. I don't actually have much involvement with anybody at the moment, purely because of things like this. I don't know if you'll notice, but do you like my new microwave? I found it yesterday at the tip at the bin, and it matches so nicely. So this horrible crappy thing is now going downstairs. So we've got a lovely new microwave. Not that I like microwaves. I've obviously got the peace of mind with all of the shopping and things now, because Mother Hubbard, I've been cleaning the fridge out. I have put some bits out, but obviously I still had all of the lentil stuff. And the people had caused problems with, well, they didn't actually cause problems with Food Bank, because I went straight in, showed the message and said, has anyone been trying to cause problems? They know me in there. You got to remember, I know people in my own community, yeah? So I've stored all of that sort of stuff up. Dog food as in a feed I'm going to have to get. I did end up putting a big crate back today, but only because I was a bit nervous. I have literally fucked up my hip massively, okay? Like literally sorry, Dan, are you behind me? Okay. I've moved the bed. So it's given me so much more space, but I've had to make sure, because of fire and safety, just in case, that I can still get us out the window, which we can. And if it came to it, I'd put the whole fucking window through. So that's okay. So that's given us so much more space all the way through here. Mommy. Yes, darling. Okay, I'm going. But obviously, things that are delaying me, just to say, is things like... Yeah, sorry, I just had to move out because the signal went. But in the drawers and things like that, I've got things like that I've got to repair and take out, which is holding me back because I've got things to put away. Once I have got to that stage, and I'm happy with it, because I have to be right, my house has to be right, my life has to be right. It's never going to be perfect. This is not ideal. This is just a makeshift to deal with this situation. I'm not going to stop until I'm in a house. And I think people forget, when I was in Leyland, you know, I lived in a house. I had a garden. You know, I know what it's like to park at the front of my garden and be able to just take shopping in. And I enjoy making my own money. I do. Because I can bless myself, because I've earned it. It was even today with the voucher, I was like, do I get a pair of cheap trainers? And it was like, no, I don't get a pair of cheap trainers. If this affiliate link with Nike comes through and I get the sent things, I will do it that way. But I can't move forward with it being website stuff, so I'm being forced to have to carry on with the garage to keep money moving forward, or I have to cancel my self-employed again. If I cancel my self-employed, it just means I've got to go on to PIP and onto disability again. But so be it. I'm entitled to that, whether I'm self-employed or whether I'm on sick anyway. So, you know, are these people stopping me? Yeah, they are. You know, just exactly as when the media went out, you know, people did it to me. Prime example, just before the media went out, me, Liam and Daniel and Aaron and Faith had been over at the little park near where we were. And one of the it's like a climbing frame, was broken. So Daniel stood up at the top to make sure that no kids could go on it, yeah? And any kid that turned up, he was saying they can't go on it, and I was ringing through to the council. So I rang through to the council to say, look, this is a really serious incident on it. It is a kid coming from a really high place, and you do not want for people to be pulling in on you. So, like, my son's happy to remain there and stop people from going on it, but, like, I can't hang around for long. So anyway, I spoke to another mum, just sort of said, look, my son's manning it, so don't let your kids go up there. And I said to her, because it only takes one person to scam it, and that, you know, we've got a serious incident, or, you know, somebody just scamming the system, right? And it was really genuine. My son actually remained there, yeah? And then when the media came up, this very same person turned around and said I was scamming it. It's like, my son saved your child from going up there and getting killed, me. So I can't be arsed with it. It doesn't bother me. That took too many years. That, you know, no. Yes, darling.
How do they do they scoop on the fishes to the Sea Life Centre?
What, from the main sea?
Yeah.
I would assume that they're either born in there or they are rescued. But they shouldn't be allowed to just scoop them up from the sea and put them in there. No, that would be illegal.
I think they did scoop them up.
That would be illegal. They're not actually allowed to just do it for like that. But I think if they're rescued or if they buy them from someone, which is still illegal. So it's different. Right, let me move out your space so you can finish up. So yeah, at the end of the day, I won't allow for these people. All it does is it just stops me from ever. I haven't got the space and capacity to help parents. I've always said this. I was on the bloody streets at the time that I was sort of going, whoa, come on. But if I've got information, even if it's something as simple as saying, look, if you're in this situation, I didn't know about opposing the adoption order. I had to learn all this as I went. If I can put those things up and do that, then I will. But I will do it in my time when I'm working, because at the end of the day, I've had 2 children, 2 little boys. Aaron and Faith and Liam and Daniel are always my priority, forever will be. Yes, darling.
I finished the pool.
But I won't have these people using Dean on me, because I will deal with it at my time. Dean will either say sorry and we will resolve this stuff.
How do I get the sharks in the Sea Life Centre?
Well, I'm assuming they're born in there or injured. So if they want to use Dean on me, all they do is cause me to think that... 2 seconds, darling. That it's Dean behind it, and I just keep him away from me even further. And it probably isn't. Just like it wasn't my mum behind it, and just like my neighbour across there was probably to do with the incident down there. There wasn't anything. There wasn't anything. My kids weren't even left down there. But because they mingle with these people online, I've had an apology off of her. Because people message these people and they get involved, and they it's called flying monkeys. So keep your flying monkeys. Keep zooming around, because it's not going to help them move on with their lives, is it? All I know is I've done fucking awesome to get through Shiloh's birthday, to get through Christmas, New Year, and I'm starting January in a really good place. I'm not even going to have my account overdrawn for my petrol either, even though I am going to run out of petrol. But I'll leave it for a couple of days. I'm happy. Pat myself on the back, mate.